Welcome to today's Michaeljackson International News Digest, Saturday, June 27, 2020. Here are today's headlines. Unreleased photos of MJ, Roger stands Michael, We Are the World tribute, Taj Series update, and an interesting YouTube recommendation. Okay, so let's get on with Brett Ratner. He, on his Instagram, released some unpublished photos, unreleased photos of MJ and a story. So Michael was a huge fan of photography, especially Hollywood photography. When I told Michael that I knew the legendary photographer Phil Stein, he asked if I could bring him over his house to meet him. I was surprised because MJ never wanted to leave his house, but he knew Phil had photographed Marlon Brando. I thought maybe he could have some snaps of him that he could see from when Marlon was young. I had Phil surprise MJ with a life-size photo he took of Brando, you can see that in the photo, and had it cut out on cardboards, and so it stood up, and that we gifted him with. We spent the entire afternoon with Phil in his house, looking through all his archives and hearing his stories behind each photo. Phil was not only a great photographer, but had an incredible sense of humour, and was one of the greatest raconteurs I ever met. MJ loved him and bought dozens of photos from the glory days of Hollywood from Phil on that visit. Phil was happy that MJ couldn't have been more happy with the gift, and he put it in front of his bed so he could see Marlon every night before he went to sleep and when he woke up. It's the little things that matter the most. I'm so grateful to have spent so much time with these two amazing artists. God bless them and may they rest in peace. P.S. At one point, a bird flew into Phil's backyard and Michael got some nuts and started feeding the bird from his hand, and after the bird left, he left some peanuts on the table for him just in case he returned. He loved animals so much. Really nice story. So let's have a look at these photos. There's Michael going through the archives. I love that shirt. And there's the little bird. And the bird's just flown off there to the left of the picture. Michael's left the nuts on the table. Not quite sure what Phil's doing here, but Michael was absolutely fascinated. Great photos and great story. Thank you, Brett. Okay, so our next story is from Tennis World. Roger Federer has Michaeljackson in his blood. My footwork, I owe it to MJ. On Thursday, it was the 11th anniversary of Michaeljackson's death, and whether you know it or not, the famous pop star and Federer have a few links connecting each other. First of all, Federer was described by former world number one Andre Agassi as being the Michaeljackson of tennis, since everyone will regret not watching him. It's going to be like the person that says, I never saw Michaeljackson perform. I can imagine a lot of people saying, I can't believe I never saw him play. In an article released about a month ago, we showed you what music the big three liked, including Federer. So Federer became passionate about Michaeljackson. Michaeljackson died on June 25th, and Federer reacted to the artist passing away. It was quite a shock to hear that news. Michael and myself are much alike in that we are both timid outside of what we do, but when we do what we are good at, we do it with passion and to be the best. Asked whether he was a fan of Michael, Federer didn't hesitate to respond, oh yeah, sure, I mean, I got all the moves, some of my footwork on the court, I owe it to Michaeljackson, let me show you. So great to see another positive article about Michaeljackson that has nothing to do with all the craziness that was going on last year. So our next story is from the New Indian Express. 100 Thriller youth go virtual to present iconic Michaeljackson song as a beacon of hope. We want to tell the world to say no to racism and stand united in the fight against COVID-19. This is a lovely, inspiring story. In these unprecedented times when COVID-19 is wreaking havoc, leaving in its trail lakes of dead, and social evils like racism are pitting humans against each other, the world is very much in need of a beacon of hope. The world is very much in need of Michael. Something that tells the world that we are one and together, and this is what 100 youngsters from Thriller decided to do. Under the banner of Locals Live 100, these youngsters, who include school and college students and professionals, have come together to present a virtual musical collaboration, which was released online on Friday. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll play a little bit of this, but link it in the description. It's great to see 11 years later that youngsters, people are still being inspired by Michael, and they will continue to be inspired 21, 31, 41 years later. Just beautiful. Okay, so some big news, a big update on the Taj docu-series that is currently producing. So recently Taj was on Nicoles View for a couple of hours. I'm going to link this in the description as well, but we're just going to play a little part where Taj talks about something that's going to be included in the docu-series. It's really interesting, and it looks like the series is shaping up to be something really special. Take your time, Taj. We can't wait to watch it.
For me, I always remember how he fed off the audience. I mean, this is going to be in the series, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but there were times when literally he didn't even have the energy to stand up, like because of the allegations and stuff had drained him. Like literally didn't have the energy to stand up. But as soon as that music hit, and he heard the screams from the audience, he would ignite. And I'll never forget, because every song I was scared he was going to drop. And it was not until like the last, he come backstage and then basically, pass out, not pass out, but, like crumple. And it was the scariest feeling, but it was because he had an obligation to do those shows. It was the worst time of his life in terms of with the allegations, but at the same time, he needed that energy from the fans to keep him going. That was like his charge, like his battery charge. And he needed that love and warmth. And so it was like what do you do? Because him staying at the hotel thinking about the allegations would have been disastrous, at the same time, because it would have eaten up at him.
Right.
But then, he needed that love to show, and he got it.
Right. Wow.
Okay, so this is my YouTube recommendation of the day. This is a problematic video. I don't normally do this. There is a reason why I'm doing this, and we'll get to this at the end. So this is from TRT, Turkish Public Broadcast Service. And the video is called Have Sexual Abuse Allegations Changed Michaeljackson's Legacy? As I said, this is problematic. They're asking that question, but they're not showing both sides of the answer. They're just concentrating on the fact that Michaeljackson is guilty, which of course we know that he isn't, and anyone that does the research and anyone that actually... Okay, but we're going to watch a little bit of what this lady has to say in the video. She comes near the end of the video. Not sure who she is. I don't think the video actually explains who she is or what she does. But let's just explore this, and then I'll get to why I'm including this video in a moment.
Singer and artist, but that doesn't matter. If he has committed these crimes, which I think there is a lot of support to show that likelihood, then we shouldn't be... Okay,
so where is the support to show the likelihood that Michaeljackson committed these crimes? Michaeljackson was acquitted in a court of law. He was vindicated. He was found innocent of all 14 charges. And the lies of Leaving Neverland have been exposed. The movie itself, whatever you want to call it, the hit piece was edited to get rid of some of the provable lies. But yet people are still running with this narrative that...
promoting his music, we shouldn't be listening to it. It shouldn't be at weddings or other parties and events. We really should be standing with survivors and muting anyone who's committed sexual violence.
Okay, again, muting anyone who's committed sexual violence. Michaeljackson did not commit sexual violence. He was acquitted. How many times do we have to go through all this? And why? I find it really curious as to why on the 11th anniversary this video appeared. Perhaps that's why, because it's for maximum impact maybe, but this kind of conversation or this kind of video you would expect in 2019. In 2020 there has definitely been a turning in the tide of support. There's a lot more positivity around Michael. So this video just kind of stands out as there's something going on behind the scenes.
Jackson's case is very similar to other high-profile cases like Harvey Weinstein in the fact that there are several victims, all of a similar demographic, in Michaeljackson's case, younger boys, and that kind of proof...
Okay, so how is that proof? That isn't proof at all. And you're talking about evidence that isn't evidence, and it's completely unfair and wrong and unjust to lump Michael in with other convicted criminals like Weinstein and Epstein because Michaeljackson wasn't convicted. Michaeljackson was not a criminal. Michaeljackson was found innocent. So the reason why I'm including this video, I'm going to include a link. Please go to that link Watch it, don't watch this video, but leave a comment and direct the uploader to Square One, direct the audience to Square One, and try not to leave any hate. Don't leave any hate. Let's do it with peace. Let's try to help these people to understand the actual truth, and maybe they'll produce a video on Square One. So that is today's Michaeljackson News Digest. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment or subscribe, because the best is yet to come.